Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider dropping likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. Lots to negotiate on this video today, but the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Leicester City's James Maddison. Now, according to reports today that have been circulating around the media, it does say Manchester United have made initial contact with James Maddison and his representatives over the potential move to Old Trafford this summer. So it does now say Manchester United have emerged him as a priority target, and it does say now Manchester United are emerged as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature. Reportedly, Leicester want around £60 million for him. It does also say that Manchester City have been linked with James Maddison for the past couple of years. It also says Liverpool have been linked to him for the past couple of years, and it also says that Tottenham have been linked to him for the past couple of years. But he's only 22 years of age. He is an attacking midfielder. He's also British as well as James Maddison, so obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has emphasised an interest in quite a few British players. But I think he's really good indeed. He's Premier League proven. Obviously, it was only his first season in the Premier League last season with Leicester, of course, because obviously, Leicester got him last summer from Norwich for around £20 million. And obviously, he signed a 5-year contract to James Maddison, so he's under contract with Leicester until 2023. But I think James Maddison, would be fantastic if he was to come to Manchester United. Obviously, Solskjaer wants to bring players in who he thinks have got that work ethic, that physicality, and obviously wants to bring players in who he thinks are going to fit, the culture of the club and the history of the club. And I do believe, that James Maddison, would be the right solution. So it now does say we are emerged as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature. James Maddison, obviously, had two years in the Championship with Norwich, so I think he did have a stellar campaign in the Championship. Obviously, he initially began his career with Coventry. I think he also had loan spells with Coventry, and I think he had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen. So there has been a lot of talks about James Maddison, going on today. So reportedly now, Manchester United have emerged him as a priority target. So reportedly Leicester want around £60 million. I think Manchester United, will be happy to pay £60 million for his services, because I think he's a really good player. He can score goals. He's really good at creating chances as James Maddison. I think he's played about 36 games in the Premier League, scored about 7 goals. So I'd love him, to come to Manchester United. James Maddison, I think he would bring a lot to the club. I think from James Maddison's perspective, I think he's got reservations about joining Manchester United, because obviously Manchester United can't offer, James Maddison Champions League football for next season. So there has been a lot of rumours, going on about that today. But it does say Liverpool, City and Tottenham have been linked to him for the past couple of seasons. So yeah, reportedly Leicester want around £60 million. No bid has not yet, no bid has been put in yet, but it just says Leicester want around £60 million, because obviously, that's what they're currently valuing him at. So yeah, I'd love him to come to Manchester United. Like I said, he's an attacking midfielder, so obviously would seem as the adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because it's looking very likely that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving the club. And I actually, would prefer it, James Maddison over Adrian Rabiot, to be quite honest, because I've got reservations about Adrian Rabiot, because I don't really like him. Really like his attitude. I do know that Manchester United are in for Adrian Rabiot. Quite a few other teams have inquired about his services, but I think from Adrian Rabiot's perspective, he wants to make the move to Liverpool. But obviously, reports were coming out, was it last week? A lot of this were coming out from a lot of Spanish outlets, including Mundo Deportivo, and they were basically saying that Manchester United were emerged as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature. Obviously, the beneficial thing is about this is no team would have to pay a transfer fee for Adrian Rabiot, because obviously, he's available on the free this summer. Obviously, he's coming to an end of his contract with PSG, but it does say Manchester United or Arsenal are the current favourites, to currently get the pursuit of Adrian Rabiot. But maybe the vast majority of Manchester United and Arsenal fans wouldn't like to see Adrian Rabiot, basically, come in. Obviously, Adrian Rabiot has spent the majority of his career with PSG. He has been there 8 years. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions. Obviously, hasn't played for PSG since December of last year. Obviously, he had been withdrawn from their squad by Thomas Tuchel, based on his refusal to sign a new contract. But reports have been coming out saying that Manchester United have offered Adrian Rabiot a lucrative contract, worth in the region of up to £170,000 a week. It does also say a signing on fee is included of around £10 million a year. Obviously, this does equate to around £170,000 every week. He is 24. He is a central midfielder, but I think can also play in other positions. But comparing Adrian Rabiot and James Maddison, I would actually prefer James Maddison over over Adrian Rabiot, because a lot of people have got reservations about Adrian Rabiot, you know, about his attitude and all that. But I don't really know much about Adrian Rabiot, if I'm going to be quite honest. I know he had a spell with Manchester City when he was younger. As like I said, Arsenal have made initial contact with PSG over the move. Manchester United have made initial contact with PSG over the move. I think also Tottenham have been in for him, Juventus have been in for him. It came out last week, you know, saying that Real Betis have been inquired about his services, because obviously, you know, Giovanni Lo Celso is linked with a £53 million move to Tottenham. But like I said, Adrian Rabiot, 24 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. I think Barcelona have also, you know, been initially, you know, linked to him. I think Adrian Rabiot has won about 18 major honours, I think including 5 League One titles, you know, during his time with PSG. So it's looking very imminent he's going to be leaving PSG, but it still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. So he's also, you know, been on Manchester United's agenda, but I think he's willing to turn down £170,000 offer from Manchester United. He's willing to turn this down because reportedly he wants to make the move to Liverpool. There's Adrian Rabiot, according to what he's currently said today, and it also says it in the media. So there's a number of midfielders that Manchester United have been linked to, because obviously, you know, that's one of the priority areas where Manchester United of course do need to strengthen up. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the club. Like I said, we're getting £250 million to spend. That should be enough, you know, for us at least, you know, to get 5 new players in. Obviously, Solskjaer wants to, you know, full areas where he thinks Manchester United are lacking. But obviously, Solskjaer is working on trying to keep his imperative players at the football club. He's also working on trying to bring the right players to Manchester United who he thinks are good enough to represent Manchester United. But Solskjaer, you know, was still saying towards the back end of the season we can attract players to elite level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. So this is what, you know, basically Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was saying. You know, there's a lot of players on Manchester United's agenda, you know, that are actually, you know, available for a reasonable figure. Some people said, you know, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. But we've got to get the right recruitment this summer anyway. We've got to get our number 1 targets, because obviously we didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get our number 1 targets last summer. But going back to what I said, you know, about you know, James Maddison, I think he'd be fantastic for Manchester United. I think he'd blend in very well in our midfield, and I do believe he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Because talking about Paul Pogba, it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Manchester United. Obviously, Paul Pogba has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. It did come out, was it last week, according to, you know, a lot of reports from Spain. You know, they were saying that, you know, Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid is practically done. He's agreed the massive pay cut and all that, and he did say his salary was set to be reduced from £13 million to £10 million a year, so his wages were set to drop by around £3 million. But obviously, you know, they haven't come to an agreement on initial fee, and I did say the initial fee, you know, could be the stumbling block of the stumbling block of Paul Pogba, you know, making his proposed move to Real Madrid. So potentially, there's still a possibility chance that Paul Pogba, you know, could remain at the football club, you know, based on the huge transfer fee that we've put on him. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is doing everything he can to try and convince Paul Pogba to remain at the football club. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that we're willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid to convince him to stay at the football club. Obviously, this isn't going to be enough, you know, to convince, you know, Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United. Obviously, you know, Zinedine Zidane's got a lot of the targets on his agenda, but obviously his 2 main priority targets are obviously, you know, Paul Pogba and Chelsea's Eden Hazard. Paul Pogba's still got 3 years left on his contract with Manchester United. Obviously, Manchester United paid £89 million to him back in 2016. Obviously, our most expensive signing. But Solskjaer knows how much of an essential player he is. You know, they have built a great relationship up. But recent reports did say that Paul Pogba and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's relationship is slowly fading. But he hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United, Paul Pogba, as we all thought he would have done, you know, regarding what he did in his 4 years with Turin. You know, what he did in his 4 years, you know, with Juventus in Turin, you know, he was really good, but he hasn't really replicated this form at Manchester United. So I think he does want to make the move to Real Madrid. I think now Florentino Perez and the Real Madrid board and that, you know, are not keen on getting him on a straight cash payment. So I think, you know, Real Madrid are saying, I think the only chances we've got of getting Paul Pogba is if we're willing to offload quite a few of our players as part of the deal. So he didn't literally say that we want around between 100 or 150 or 160 million pounds of Pogba. Obviously, these are figures that Real Madrid, of course, are not willing to pay. So it has been breaking out in the media in the last couple of days saying that Real Madrid are willing to offer, you know, up to 3 of their players, you know, in a bid to sign Paul Pogba. Obviously, you know, the 3 players that got mentioned was obviously, you know, Gareth Bale, James Rodriguez and Keylor Navas. But like I said, Manchester United willing to go along with this. Like I said, I don't want Gareth Bale as part of the deal for Paul Pogba, because I've got strong reservations about Bale now. He's had 2 inconsistent. He's been inconsistent for Real Madrid in the past couple of seasons. Don't get me wrong, his ratio is still very, very good, even though he's injury prone and all that. Very injury prone, should I say. You know, he's got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid as Bale. But I don't want him at Manchester United. I know he had a lot of years of experience of playing in the Premier League, you know, when he was at Tottenham, because he did have 6 great years with Tottenham. But I don't want Bale at Manchester United. Too injury prone. Plus he's on decline. He's nearly 30 years of age now. You can put Bale on the left. You can also put him on the right. Obviously, you know, Zinedine Zidane and Florentino Perez, you know, want to flog Gareth Bale out of Real Madrid, because obviously Zinedine Zidane confirmed that Gareth Bale has no future at Real Madrid, and he also confirmed that he no longer fits in his plans with Real Madrid, does Gareth Bale. But like I said, either way, discarding Gareth Bale as being part of any swap deal or out, and obviously, you know, discarding being part of any swap deal, Real Madrid are going to find it difficult to get rid of him permanently, you know, based on his substantial wages. Obviously, Man United, I think there's been, you know, the rumours have continued to persist linking Gareth Bale with a move to Manchester United, you know, since like, 2013 or something like that. And since that point, the rumours have continued to persist. But I would have took Gareth Bale a couple of years ago. You know, he has been at Real Madrid 6 years. Obviously, you know, he's won about 13 major honours during his 6 years with Real Madrid. I think he's played about 231 games, scored 103 goals as Gareth Bale. But obviously, you know, Zinedine Zidane doesn't want him there. I think from Bale's perspective, you know, I think he's intending on spending the rest of his career with Real Madrid. He doesn't want to leave Real Madrid, but obviously, you know, Real Madrid want to get rid of Bale. So I don't want to see Bale as part of the deal with Paul Pogba. James Rodriguez, as you all know, got mentioned. I think James Rodriguez is obviously not on loan with Bayern Munich. Obviously, he signed for Munich in 2017. Obviously, he went on a 2-year loan spell, so his 2-year loan spell is set to come to an end with Bayern Munich. So I think he's set to make the return to Real Madrid. James Rodriguez is nearly 28 years of age. He's an attacking midfielder. He can also play as a winger as well. So James Rodriguez has also been mentioned. Also, Keylor Navas got mentioned, goalkeeper. We could actually, you know, see Keylor Navas as a replacement for David De Gea. So they are the 3 players reportedly that Real Madrid are willing to offer to try and lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United, of course. So, like I said, there's still been rumours going on saying that, you know, Juventus are interested in re-signing Paul Pogba and all that. Came out, was it quite a few days ago, saying that Juventus willing to offload a couple of their players, you know, to currently get Paul Pogba. But I think from Paul Pogba's perspective, you know, his preferred destination, of course, is Real Madrid. Paul Pogba's on about £290,000 a week with Manchester United in his current deal. I think it came out a while back saying that he was demanding around 500 grand a week if he was to remain loyal to the club and if he was to sign a new contract. But we know Paul Pogba was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation last year, you know, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, he was linked to his former club Juventus last year, also linked with a move to Barcelona. And obviously, you know, Paul Pogba, since he came back in 2016, you know, he's won the Europa League with us, the League Cup with us. Obviously, that came in Jose Mourinho's first season. We still know how much of the central plays, but maybe a couple of the main factors is why Pogba wants to leave the club, because maybe he wants to be, you know, playing amongst better players. Maybe he wants to be in, you know, Champions League football, wants to be, you know, challenging and winning trophies. And obviously, you know, Manchester United can't offer him this. You know, don't get me wrong, Paul Pogba's still one of the best midfielders in world football when he's playing in the right vein and manner, but probably just needs to be playing amongst, you know, good players, Paul Pogba, and he isn't getting this at Manchester United. But at least in last month or so, maybe longer, that his agent Raiola has been in the process of securing his move to Real Madrid. But Paul Pogba's 26, you know, he's still in his prime. He has still got a hell of a lot of development in him. But like I said, if we can cash in for him anyway, you know, it's going to help us with our transition and it will help us with our rebuilding process. But like I said, I think James Maddison, you know, would be the good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because I think Paul Pogba is primarily an attacking midfielder. Obviously, James Maddison is an attacking midfielder, and I do believe he'd exceed expectation levels at Manchester United. But it's if James Maddison, you know, does want to come to Manchester United, that is the question, because he's got reservations about coming, even though he knows we're a massive club, you know, we're the most successful, we're the most successful club historically in England and all that. But he obviously, maybe James Maddison, you know, wants to be in Champions League football and all that. And obviously, you know, Manchester United cannot offer him this. As I've been giving you an update as well about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, it's looking very, very imminent. He's going to be coming here to Manchester United. Well, anyway, according to recent reports, Manchester United do want to finalise a deal for Bruno Fernandes sometime this week. I think he's set to join us in a deal worth around £70 million is Bruno Fernandes. So basically, we are willing to offer more than Manchester City for Bruno Fernandes. So according to a baller, the Portuguese press, they have basically said we are now emerged as the front runners, to currently get the player's signature. It has been obviously, been Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. I think Manchester City are only willing to pay up to like £40 million for him, but it did say City willing to offer a couple of their players as part of the deal. But Bruno Fernandes, only 24 years of age, got a hell of a lot of development in him. Obviously hasn't played in the Premier League yet, but I think he's obviously a player of his calibre. He obviously wants to take his career to the next level. So it's looking likely he will be playing his trade in the Premier League next season. Will Bruno Fernandes? He has been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of seasons. Obviously had a lot of experience playing in Italy, when he was younger with the likes of San Pandora and underneath. And he's done really, really well, with Sporting Lisbon. He has been there a couple of seasons, but he's got goals in him, he's got assists in him. I think he'd have depth in our midfield, fantastically well. His initial release clause is around, £86 million or something like that. But obviously Manchester United and Manchester City are reluctant, of course, to, trigger his release clause. So I think now he's favoured to come to Manchester United. But like I said, he's got all the capabilities, he's got all the attributes to definitely, succeed in the Premier League as Bruno Fernandes. So I think, he definitely exceed expectation levels. He's been on Manchester United's agenda, for quite some time now. Obviously, he's been on Manchester City's agenda, for quite some time. But Bruno Fernandes did say he's unsure about his future. He said he doesn't know if he's going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon. He did deny making any negotiation with Manchester United over the potential move to Old Trafford. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes is on Manchester United's agenda, and it's looking likely he's set to join Manchester United, which is very, very good news indeed. As you all know, as I've been giving you my updates about Matthijs de Ligt as well, from Ajax, he still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. Matthijs de Ligt has come out in the media, and I think he's basically said... I think he's come out and said he has hinted that he's close to making a final decision on his future, because he did say he's going to notify Manchester United in the next coming days about his decision on his current future and all that. And I think he's considering, making the move to Manchester United. Reports do still say that Manchester United, of course, and Barcelona are still in for him. Obviously, quite a few other clubs have been interested in him as well. Liverpool have inquired about his services. Manchester City have inquired about his services. I think PSG have inquired about his services. Bayern Munich have inquired about his services. Reports came out today saying that Juventus have put around the £75 million bidding, because obviously in terms of the transfer fees and all that, Matthijs de Ligt is going to cost you from between probably 70 or £75 million pounds. Obviously we do know that, I think Manchester United have been emerged as the front runners to currently get the player's signature, at least in the last 4 or 5 days, because obviously it did say we're willing to offer him a contract worth up to £350,000 a week. Obviously, this equates to almost £17 million a year. And yeah, so if this was to process, this would make Matthijs de Ligt, the highest paid player at Manchester United, well, one of the highest paid players at the club. Also, make him the highest paid teenager in world football. But he did basically say that he's admitted that he has several options on the table, and obviously I think Matthijs de Ligt is aware of the speculation and all that. But I really, really would like him to come to Manchester United. But sorry about this darkness, I'll just get the light on in a minute. But I really, really would like him, to come to Manchester United, Matthijs de Ligt. I think he would succeed in the Premier League. But like I was saying, I think at least in the last couple of months that Barcelona have been in the ascendancy. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that from Sky Sports, saying that Matthijs de Ligt was set to join Barcelona. So his move to Barcelona, looked very, very imminent indeed. Obviously, Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate, Frankie de Jong. Barcelona got him for around £65 million. But reports came out the other week saying that, talks have currently stalled, between Barcelona and Matthijs de Ligt, because I think the main factor reason why this occurred, because obviously Barcelona are not willing to meet his current terms. Obviously, they're not willing to increase their offer, and they're not willing to meet what, de Ligt's demanding and what his agent, Raiola, of course, is demanding. So there's been a number of teams interested in him. Obviously, he's been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window. It's going to be looking likely he's going to be leaving Ajax, but it still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. But I think first team football for him at Manchester United, would be much easier for him than it would be at Barcelona, because Barcelona, couldn't guarantee him first team football. Manchester United could guarantee him first team football, and plus we are willing to meet what De Ligt's demanding and what his agent Raiola is demanding. But so far, he has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. He's had 3 years worth of experience in their senior squad. Was named captain at the age of 18. He is now 19. I think he made his senior debut at just the age of 17, and I think he's made about 117 senior appearances for Ajax. Obviously, Ajax, he enjoyed a very, very good season with Ajax last season. Of course, winning the domestic double, winning the Eredivisie title, and of course progressing to Champions League semi-final. So I think he'd be fantastic for Manchester United. With Matthias de Ligt, I think he'd be a great leader in our backline. Obviously, we do need we need to bolster that central defensive area up. Like I said, I think we need 2 central defenders. The other week it came out saying that Manchester United had opted out of the race because I think we were actually very, very convinced that he's set to join Barcelona and all that. But it still says that Barcelona are in there. It says Liverpool have inquired about his services and all that. Manchester City have inquired about his services because City are looking for a replacement for Vincent Kompany. So I think he's set to let Manchester United know in the next coming days about his current future and all that. So he has basically come out saying that he's close to making a final decision about his future. So we may know maybe later on tonight. We may know tomorrow. Where his future currently lies. There's still a possibility, chance that he could remain loyal to Ajax and he could spend another season with them. But I think from Matthias de Ligt's perspective, he does want to take his footballing career to the next level, and it would be good for him, to come and experience the Premier League. And he has been an Ajax player, since the age of 8, 9 year old. So he has become an integral part of their team. So that's the latest news on that. I've been giving you an update as well about Thomas Meunier from PSG. Obviously, there's been a lot of speculation going on about him in the last couple of days. Obviously, it says Manchester United have made initial contract with PSG over the potential move. It also says Arsenal have made initial contact. It also says, I think it also says that Umar has made initial contact as well over a potential move for Thomas Meunier. But I think now we have emerged as the front runners, to currently get a deal over the line for Thomas Meunier, because I think from Thomas Meunier's perspective, I think his preferred destination is Manchester United, because it got revealed that he has been a Manchester United fan, since he was a current child, Thomas Meunier. Obviously, he's found himself surplus to requirements at PSG, because actually, to be quite fair, when Umar was at PSG, Thomas Meunier, wasn't more of a first-team starter, but since he's left, he's found himself surplus to requirements, and I think this is the main reason why Thomas Meunier has been linked with a move away from PSG, but it's definitely looking imminent. He's going to be leaving PSG, and he's available for a reasonable figure, because I think PSG said they wanted around £25 million for him. He's only got a year left on his contract with PSG. As you all know, he's 27 years of age, so he has still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Obviously hasn't played in the Premier League yet, but like I said, predominantly right back, can also play in other positions, so he's very, very versatile, which is also very, very beneficial. But I do believe he will succeed in the Premier League. I think he's set to join Manchester United in a deal worth around £22 million. Don't get me wrong, quite a bit of this news and all that about Meunier, quite a lot of it, well, should I say some of it, or maybe a lot of it, could be stemming from his agent. But I think from his own perspective, he wants to make the move to Manchester United, of course, because we've got issues defensively. Arsenal have got issues defensively. This is why they've inquired about Thomas Meunier's service, because maybe Umar may be keen on me uniting with the player. But he is 27 years of age. I think he's been at PSG now about 3 seasons. I think he's made about 101 appearances for PSG. PSG paid around, was it £5 million for him from Club Brugge back in 2016. But yeah, we definitely need a right back, and I think Thomas Meunier, would be a good replacement for Valencia. Obviously, we know Valencia is leaving Manchester United after he's served 10 years with the club. I don't know where Valencia is going. I don't know where his next destination is going to be, but we know he's leaving the club. I think Thomas Meunier, will be a good upgrade to Ashley Young, and I also think he will be a good cover up for Diego Dalot. So he will be fantastic for Manchester United. Still, like I said, I still think he's got about 4 or 5 years in him as Meunier. But yeah, Manchester United have made initial contact. So I think now we are emerged as the front runners to get the player's signature. But looking at it from a financial point of view, he's a cheap alternative. Is Thomas Meunier, he's a much cheaper alternative than Crystal Palace is Wan-Bissaka, because there has been a number of right backs on our agenda, and obviously one of them has been Wan-Bissaka. I think now we haven't give up on Wan-Bissaka. I still think he's on Manchester United's agenda, but I think now with the latest news about Thomas Meunier, I think we've prioritised Thomas Meunier over Wan-Bissaka, because reportedly the quoted fee now is around 60 or is it £70 million that Crystal Palace want for him, and I think these are figures that Manchester United are not willing to currently meet. I think it did say last week we had submitted a bid of around £25 million for Wan-Bissaka, Wan-Bissaka. We submitted a bid of around £25 million for Wan-Bissaka, but obviously, this figure's not going to be enough, to convince Crystal Palace to sell him. But he is one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. Obviously, he's Premier League proven, of course. He's only been in Crystal Palace's senior squad about 15 months. Obviously, he broke into their senior squad in February of 2018, and he has become an integral part of their team. I think initially when he was younger, he was a winner, but obviously now as he was going and as he was developing and growing and all that, I think he got rotated as a right back. So obviously now he's predominantly a right back. I think he's regarded as one of the best right backs in the Premier League. He's still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace, but we do know he's been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets, as Wan-Bissaka. He obviously at some point in his career, you want to take his footballing career to the next level, because I think Wan-Bissaka's defensive capabilities are very, very good. I think quite a few teams have inquired about his services, so he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation was Wan-Bissaka, but he could actually stay with Crystal Palace at least for another season. So I think now we've prioritised Thomas Meunier over him. Thomas Meunier is obviously a lot more experienced than Wan-Bissaka, because obviously Thomas Meunier is 27 and Wan-Bissaka is 21, so Thomas Meunier is about six and a half years older than Wan-Bissaka, and so looking at it, he's going to substantially cost us a lot less than Wan-Bissaka is Thomas Meunier, so it's looking imminent. He's going to be coming out to Manchester United. I think another problem with Manchester United, we have let far too many players their contracts run down. Rashford's in the final year of his deal. Obviously, Mata, he's coming to end of his deal. The club have failed to agree a contract extension for him, so it's looking likely he's going to be leaving. Obviously, David De Gea is in the final year of his deal, and obviously, we'll let Ander Herrera, go on a free transfer. But you can see the deficiencies in the squad, and you can identify the areas where we are currently lacking. So we do need a massive overhaul this summer. Like I said, none of this squad's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so he's still in the process of rebuilding. Like I said, there is cultural problems at the club at the moment, and that does need addressing. Obviously, we want to get a director of footballing before the start of next season, and that's the structural change that we do need at the club, is getting a director of footballing. There has been quite a few candidate names mentioned who could take that director as well at Manchester United, but it would be ideal to recommend someone who knows the culture of the club and someone of course has got the experience. And like I said, £250 million should be enough for us to get around at least 5 players at least. But yeah, probably about 3 or 4 players are probably set to leave Manchester United this summer. Like I said, it's looking like probably Darmian will be leaving, Marcus Rojo will also be leaving. And I think at an estimated guess, we can get around 25 or £30 million for them too. Smalling and Jones will be here next season, but I don't think they should be here next season. They have been 2 long-serving players at the club. Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years. And they have demonstrated in their, time at Manchester United, that they can play well and that they can hold the lines very, very well, and and all that. But like I said, they're too inconsistent now for Manchester United. It was a bad mistake, as giving them new long-term contracts, as you all know. This is why I did say we need 2 central defenders. Like I said, as I give you the news about Romelu Lukaku earlier on, of course, it's been looking very imminent. He's set to leave Manchester United. Lukaku, obviously, he's been heavily linked with a move to Inter Milan. I think from Lukaku's perspective, he's keen on making the move to Inter Milan, because he was talking about his dream of playing in the Serie A, morale back, of course. And I think Manchester United, do want to get rid of Romelu Lukaku, but obviously, as reports have been coming out today, I've been reading up in the media, it does say now that Lukaku's proposed move now to Inter Milan, could be under threat, due to financial fair play rules. So reportedly, Inter Milan have reportedly got a cash-in, raise around £40 million before the end of this month to meet financial fair play regulations. Now, based on this could be the stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan. Or if they can, raise £40 million, before the end of this month, Lukaku's move to Inter Milan is still definitely on. I think also another stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan is obviously, the transfer fee, because Manchester United have put a huge transfer fee on Romelu Lukaku, and it does reportedly, it came out towards the back end of last week saying that the quoted fee is around £80 million that we do want now for Romelu Lukaku, and I think this is a figure that Inter Milan are going to be reluctant to pay. So, maybe if Inter Milan want to get him, they may have to offload a player, one of their players as part of the deal or something like that. But it didn't actually say everything else has been agreed. It did say Inter Milan have agreed the personal terms with Lukaku. It did also say that Inter Milan have agreed a 5-year contract with Romelu Lukaku, and it also said they are willing to meet his wage demands. But obviously, they haven't come to an agreement on the initial fee. It reported out the other week saying that that Lukaku had been in Italy, and held negotiations with Inter Milan's representatives over getting a deal deal over the line. But obviously, they haven't come to an agreement on the fee. Antonio Conte is Inter Milan's new manager, and obviously he's identified, Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. So basically, we are looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton back in 2017, because we did pay £75 million for him from Everton, but there were several add-ons including the deal of around £15 million. So it initially risen the deal to £90 million. But Lukaku has still got 3 years left on his contract. I think he's on about £250,000 a week. But reports came out last week saying that Manchester United have told him that he can leave. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has told him that he's surplus to requirements at the club. But maybe we still think Lukaku is initially worth around 70 or 80 million pounds, because obviously he's still 26 years of age, he's in his prime, he has still got a lot of development in him. And credit to Romelu Lukaku, his ratio is still very, very good in the Premier League. He has scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, and his pedigree is very, very good in the Premier League. But he enjoyed a very very difficult second season with Manchester United, because we know he was surplus to requirements, and we know mainly that Marcus Rashford had been first choice ahead of him. But in his first season with Manchester United, Lukaku did really, really well. I think he scored 27 goals in all competitions, but he didn't replicate that form in his in his second season of what he did in his first season. So potentially, Lukaku does want to make the move to Italy. But like I said, it did come out, last week, saying that Inter Milan were willing to offer £30 million plus Ivan Perisic as part of the deal to get Lukaku. But obviously we know Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. It was a long-term target in Mourinho, but he's no longer now a Manchester United target. Now he's Ivan Perisic, so we wouldn't intend on bringing him in, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not intending on bringing any short-term players to the club. Obviously Icardi, I think Inter Milan want to get rid of Mario Icardi. He's been mentioned that he could be part of the deal for Lukaku, but I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on bringing Mario Icardi in. I think if we are willing to let Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, we are demanding Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar, because obviously he's been a potential Manchester United target as well as Milan Skriniar. Whether Inter Milan are willing to go along with this or not, I do not know. So there is actually a possibility that Romelu Lukaku could remain at the football club. But it did say everything else has been agreed. Like I said, the terms, the contracts, I think it said a 5-year contract has been agreed, with around, $7.5 million a year, plus bonuses included. But obviously, they haven't yet come to an agreement on a fee. And now, based on these financial fair play rules, this could be another stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan. So Inter Milan will want to raise £40 million before the 30th of June, to meet financial fair play regulations. But I do want us to get rid of Romelu Lukaku, because I think he's too inconsistent. His finishing, concerns me. He hasn't got that endless potential. Never rises up to the occasions against the big sides, and I've got a lot of strong reservations about him. So I think we need to try his best to get rid of Romelu Lukaku. And as I did currently say with Sanchez, I think he's got to be going as well as Sanchez. I haven't heard much latest news about him recently. It did come out a couple of weeks ago saying that Juventus and Inter Milan were interested in Sanchez, and it did say Sanchez's agent was in Italy. It did say Juventus and Inter Milan had been in negotiations with Alexis Sanchez's agent, because obviously Manchester United can't get rid of him permanently, based on his substantial wages. Obviously I think it did say Sanchez had agreed the pay cut. We were willing to let him go on a long season loan, and we were willing to pay him half of his wages off, because obviously he is one of the problematic players at the club is Sanchez. Obviously had the experience of playing in Italy, when he was young, with underneath, so he's had experience of playing in Italy, so I think he could be applying his trade in Italy next season. So obviously Sanchez is on about 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on image rights and based on the bonuses and all that, and I think his wages are having a really, really bad effect on the football club, and it is affecting our wage structure. And and I think we need to get rid of him. But he hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United. He hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been. Regarding what he did in his 4 years with Arsenal. Obviously, he played under Pep Guardiola. With Barcelona. He played under Pep Guardiola at Barcelona when he was young, and he was really, really good there. But he hasn't replicated this at Manchester United. And I think he has become injury prone since he's come to Man United. He has sustained about 4 injuries as Sanchez, and he's just been so inconsistent. He hasn't fitted under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system. Sanchez doesn't have a future at the club anyway. He's 30 years of age. He has lost that yard of pace, so we definitely need to get rid of him. Talking about Joe Felix, obviously he's been a Manchester United target, and obviously Manchester United and Manchester City are battling it out for Joe Felix from Benfica. He's done really, really well in Portugal as well. So too as Bruno Fernandes, and I think they've both tied up in Portugal really, really well. Bruno Fernandes and Joe Felix. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes is more experienced than Joe Felix, because Bruno Fernandes Fernandes is 24. You know, Joe Felix is only 19 years of age. But like I was saying about Joe Felix, you know, I think he can emulate into one of the best players in the world without a shadow of a doubt. You know, this obviously, you know, last season it was only his first season in the senior squad with Benfica. Obviously hasn't yet, you know, made his senior debut for Portugal. Obviously, you know, Joe Felix is going to cost you over £100 million because Benfica have blatantly made it clear if they are willing to sell him that his buyout clause has to be triggered, and I think his buyout clause, like I said, is around £105 million. It has been Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. Like I said, he's got goals in him, he's got assists in him, he has got immense talent. He is primarily an attacking midfielder, is Joe Felix. I think he can also play as a winner, and he can also play as a striker and a secondary striker, so he is very, very versatile indeed, and I do really, really like him, and I do believe he will definitely exceed expectation levels in the Premier League, and I do think he would succeed in the Premier League, you know, with Joe Felix, and obviously at some point anywhere he's going to want to take his career to the next level. I think quite a few teams have inquired about his services. I think Real Madrid have been in there for him. You know, Liverpool inquired about his services in January, but I think Liverpool had a bid turned down for him. But Manchester United have been scouting him I think, since January, you know, regarding on his impressive performances for Benfica. So he's still on Manchester United's agenda, but I'd love him, you know, to come to Manchester United. Like I've been updating you about Nicolas Pepe as well from Lille. Obviously, you know, Manchester United and Liverpool are in for him. It does say Manchester United and Liverpool have been in talks with Lille to currently get the pursuit of Nicolas Pepe. This was actually, you know, coming from Duncan Castles as a journalist. You know, he was saying Manchester United and Liverpool have expressed their interest in the player. It did come out a couple of weeks ago that Nicolas Pepe is set to leave Lille, because obviously, you know, the Lille chairman had confirmed this, but obviously it remains uncertain where Nicolas Pepe, you know, will be applying his trade next season. He's the obvious candidate, you know, for the right win for Manchester United. Is Nicolas Pepe. He's so far spent the entirety of his career in France. Obviously, he's been at Lille a couple of seasons. He's under contract with Lille until 2022. I think the quoted fee. What? It wasn't open? Oh. No. I'll just shut it. Quoted fee of around £70 million. So this is what it's going to take, you know, for Manchester United or Liverpool to get the pursuit of the player. So there has been a lot of talks about him, you know, going on. But I think he's got all the attributes, you know, to come and succeed in the Premier League and all that. And it would take his career to the next level. So there has been talks about him going on as well. So yeah, that's mainly everything to really update you on. So the main part of this video was to give you the latest news about James MADDISON from Leicester. Manchester United are reportedly now in pole position to currently sign him. Reportedly, Leicester want around £60 million for him. It does say City have been linked to him for the past couple of years. Liverpool and Tottenham have also been linked to him for the past couple of years as well. So, yeah. No, I'd have shut the door anywhere. I'd have shut the door anywhere.
You did what?
I'd have shut the door anywhere.
You will. Living room door was closed to, and the door where you get access to the house was open. The door was shut, it was not locked. All it took is a scum druggy bastard to walk past, push gate open, and then have been in and lot of the gone. Fucking lot, there's a rifle lot.
What? Would there? Yeah, but just talking there. But like I said, yeah, so James MADDISON's being linked with move to Manchester United. So anyway, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you guys all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with some more live videos as well, so do tune in.